No one knew why this man was crying. If you've been around the internet space recently, you would have heard or seen the near-death experience of Pastor T.D. Jakes. I learned something very huge, like very, and I think you would also learn from this one. We all know how he almost lost his life in something that looks like a transient ischemic attack, although that's not what they said it was.
Crowd reacting before several people rushed on stage to come to his aid. On the Potter's House Facebook page, parishioners and followers around the world sent prayers for Bishop Jakes' quick recovery. In a statement posted online, the Potter's House said Bishop T.D. Jakes experienced a slight health incident and received immediate medical attention. They thanked the community for the outpouring of love, prayers, and support, and said that Bishop Jakes is stable and under the care of medical professionals. The Potter's House did not share if T.D. Jakes was hospitalized following the incident or what may have led up to the incident.
You see that right there? That could actually lead to a funeral. He knew about it. He actually said it when he was addressing his congregation. But that's not the takeaway here. The takeaway or the juice in this video would actually make sense after watching his reaction when he was discharged from the hospital. Just a little clip.
Here we are.
Grateful.
Hang tight, sir. We just waiting to get the key to open the car.
Okay. I'm grateful to y'all, all the people who prayed, all the people who texted, all the people who had prayer vigils, all the people who were concerned and sent love and sent notes. Just grateful. Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I almost was in tears when he was talking, appreciating people and, the prayers and everything. The big man, T.D. Jakes, was in tears, but no one knew why this man was crying. And the reason would make sense to you, and that's part of the juice that I'm talking about. It will make sense to you when you watch the next video where he was trying to address his congregation. He was at home. He didn't go to church, but he made a video. In the video, you will notice something, and that's the point.
I am grateful to God for his goodness and his mercy and his grace. Many of you don't realize that you're looking at a miracle. I faced a life-threatening calamity, was rushed to the ICU unit, had emergency surgery, survived this surgery. Yeah, I'm back. And the truth of the matter is sometimes things happen and they are beyond our control, and sometimes things happen and there's spiritual warfare. I haven't deduced the finality of all of that, but what I do know is greater is he that is in us than he that's in the world. You might not have known every detail. I didn't know every detail. I didn't know every detail. But God knew, and together in his presence, the strangest thing I would share with you.
Now here is the point.
Is that
pay attention.
In the midst of all that you saw and felt, I didn't see that. I didn't experience that the way you experienced it. I didn't even know that until I saw it on TV. I looked around and everybody was around me. I was annoyed because I didn't know why they were around me. I didn't experience it. What I did experience was the feeling of being cradled. It was if I was cradled, and it was quiet, and it was peaceful, and I was cradled. And I spent days reflecting on what it is to be cradled in a crisis. And maybe you're going through some sort of crisis in your life, your body, your finances, your children, your health, your emotions, your mind. What things look like on the outside are not always reflective of what they look like on the inside. God had me cradled.
So, like I said, there are two things I learned from this man's experience. The first one is in this video. The second one will follow next. The first one is He kept saying being cradled. That's huge. I mean, for me, I just got something from it, and I wish you will too. Here is the point. I believe from what he is saying is that God wants us to return to that innocent state. Let me take a verse of the Bible so that it will make more sense. This part of the Bible, I actually researched on this one. Matthew chapter 19, verse 14. Jesus said, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as this." I don't know if you are where I am right now, but here is the big deal. Jesus actually wants us to act towards God as children. He didn't say we should become children, but our PhD, our masters, our level of education should actually be put into the garbage when you are actually dealing with God. That you are the big man TD Jakes, the huge pastor everybody knows about. When it comes to God, you have to return to that little state. You know why? Because from what he said, in that your big state, God cannot cradle you. That is what he's trying to say here. We are so busy, even me too. I am so busy, like worried about maybe my finances. Some other people are worried about marital issues, going through problems with their kids. It might be health issue. But here is the deal. He said that amidst all those things, that is not how chaotic it is on the outside, is how it is on the inside. What we saw on TV, the video I showed you earlier, how everybody was running around, hey, what's happening to our man TD Jakes, and they rushed into the hospital. That all those things, he didn't even know. On the inside, there was peace because God got him. And that also takes you to where God said he is made strong in our weakness. It's in the book of Corinthians. This will help you to understand that if we are so consumed with all the problems that could lead us to addiction, depression, and ultimately suicidal, we won't have the time to look inside and see the great hand of God reaching out, wishing to hold us and cradle us. So when we continue to make ourselves so important that we feel that we can solve our problem, he's not going to be made strong. So we need to return to that weakness, that innocence, that childish feeling of I am not strong. So then we can come to the throne of mercy of God, and then he can cradle us. That's what I learned from here. And if it makes sense to you, just give me a thumbs up. And then there is something else I also picked up. I'm like, it's crazy. It's a principle, because this grown man with beards, white beards, can actually come down and return himself to a child. I don't know what I should be doing, And then there is another point I want us to pick up too. The second juice I sucked out of this one is something we might be overlooking every day in our life. But let the video speak.
And you're looking at a miracle. I was in the ICU unit, and the person beside me, on the day they let me out, one of the reasons I was so emotional was I felt the sun hit my face at the same time that a person down the hallway was being taken to the morgue. And it just reminded me of God's faithfulness. Every moment, every second, every minute of your life, you should recognize that somebody's headed to the morgue while you're headed to the light. Not because you're any better, not because they're any worse, but by the amazing grace of God. It really puts your
while you're
problems in
complaining
perspective.
about everything, just remember that there's someone else being wheeled to the morgue. So while he's being wheeled out to go home on a wheelchair, someone else in the same hospital was wheeled to the morgue. That's huge. And that made him appreciate the heat and the light that came from the sun. He probably walks around every day just like me and you. We don't appreciate the little things that is on the way while we go. But we are just consumed with, the worries of things we do not have. You worry about not having a shoe. Wait until you see someone who doesn't have legs. And maybe then you will start appreciating the fact that just because that you can just walk from the living room to the kitchen just to grab a glass of water, it's a big deal. And for sure, that hits me. Like, I don't know if it does hit you, but it did hit me. And then I also realized, because this man, whatever happened to him, is going to make him come back even stronger than he was spiritually. I don't really know about his spiritual background. I know that he had, there are so many controversies, but I don't like associating myself with things like that because I don't like judging people. Judgment belongs to God and not me. But then one thing for sure, God sometimes uses setback to tap us on the back so that we can look towards him. I got hold of this part of the Bible, and it's John chapter 9 verse 1 to 3. And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither had this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the work of God should be made manifest in him. We might actually be going through some problems right now. Like I said, financially or whatsoever. It's not just because we did something wrong. It might be just because God is trying to tap us so that we would know that we cannot do these things on our own, so that we can turn back to him. Sometimes God wants to call us, setting up a problem. I know it sounds weird, but it's in the Bible. So who knows? TD Jakes might be having like a spiritual call from God. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to say that he did something wrong, but honestly, if TD Jakes had like a spiritual charge of 50% coming out of this, there's no way he wouldn't have 20% extra, like 70% spiritual charge. Yeah, but then I'm glad he's well and fine. And if you like content like this, please do well to subscribe to my channel. And remember, you are always the judge. Stay blessed. Peace.